Hey, I'm glad you're back with figuring out who killed Jesus. Some would say that it was the Jews during that time period that did this horrific act. But I believe in narrowing it down to certain names when I was directing and opening this cold case. And I think I have a name. A name that I want you to consider. I would like to see what you think about this name. So moving forward, we can press charges against this individual. There are some records of eyewitnesses who recorded this person, and they say that this person is a prime suspect. According to Mark, who was an eyewitness, he says that now there was a man called Barabbas, and he was in prison with the rebels who had committed murder during the insurrection. So the crowd came and began to ask Pilate to do for them according to his custom. Then he answered them, "Do you want me to release for you the king of the Jews?" For he realized that it was out of jealousy that the chief priest had handed him over. But the chief priest stirred up the crowd to have him release Barabbas for them instead. Pilate spoke to them again. "Then what do you wish me to do with the man you call the king of the Jews?" They shouted back, "Crucify him." Pilate asked them, "Why? What evil has he done?" But they shouted all the more, "Crucify him." So Pilate, wishing to satisfy the crowd, released Barabbas for them, and after flogging Jesus, he handed him over to be crucified. Barabbas is the suspect for today, and people who have the same mindset just like him. Each of the Gospels, eyewitnesses, describes Barabbas differently. John contains the least details concerning Barabbas, referring to Barabbas as a robber or a revolutionary. In Matthew, Barabbas is a notorious prisoner. And you see in Mark, which we just read, Barabbas is a rebel or an insurrectionist. And in Luke, he has been part of this insurrection. Mark and Luke both mention that Barabbas has committed murder. Now, Pilate may have used Barabbas to gauge how unpopular or dangerous Jesus was. Barabbas may have been an alternate name for Jesus, some say. Barabbas means son of the Father, and he is called Jesus Barabbas in some ancient copies of Matthew. The gospel writers could have used the similar names to contrast the two characters. Jesus, on one hand, who is the true Son of God and a true liberator and revolutionary. And on the other hand, Barabbas, who is called a murderer and an insurrectionist. One could say that if there was no Barabbas or people like him, then Jesus would not have had to die. But I believe that Pilate only used Barabbas as a scapegoat. You see, it was a tradition in honor of the Passover that one prisoner would be set free. Pilate, I believe, since Barabbas was a murderer, a creator, or a part of a havoc in the community that he governed, surely the crowd would pick Jesus to be set free. Because the question that we should be asking is, if he was going to pick someone to be free and was going to line them up against Jesus, why didn't he just pick another prisoner, i.e., one of the two thieves that were on the cross with Jesus? We have heard the facts about Barabbas, and I say to you that we will place him on our suspect board. We will come back on Friday to figure out this cold case of who killed Jesus. Amen.